At Culp and Napanee and Ladenburger, Newswatch 28.
After the 1980 census, Indiana was required to redraw its legislative districts. Now the U.S. Supreme Court will decide whether the way Republicans came up with those districts was fair. The court has ruled in the past that election districts must be populated equally, but the court has never said that a plan which meets that standard but still gives advantage to one party is unconstitutional. When Republicans set out to redraw the districts, they used computers to move the district lines. State Democrats charged they were unlawfully discriminated against, and the new districts undermined their chances of winning a fair share of seats. In December, a three-judge federal panel threw out the districting plan, saying the new map-making techniques threatened a fundamental American principle of self-government. The Supreme Court's ruling won't be announced until next year.
A consumer activist group says an anti-consumer utility bill is working its way through the state legislature, and the Citizens Action Coalition wants utility customers to protest. South Bend CAC spokesman Paul Faldudo says a House committee has changed a good Senate bill to reflect utility viewpoints. Senate Bill 546 would allow NIPSCO and Public Service Indiana to recover some $3 billion from abandoned nuclear power plant projects. And CAC says there's only one problem with that bill.
As far as we're concerned, would be carte blanche to do whatever necessary. The Commission would have to set revenues at a level that would allow them to raise this capital, which would mean full dividends, for example, high credit rating. So that would mean that revenues would have to be commensurately high to get that level of profit that's needed to enable them to raise capital at a reasonable cost.
CAC says it supports the original Senate version of Senate Bill 546, and it's asking that utility customers contact their local legislators to protest changes in the bill. CAC says the bill as it stands now saddles electric power customers with the costs of bailing out utility companies. The South Bend Common Council is expected tonight to vote whether to accept a site at Main and Western as a new location for a bus transfer site. The resolution has been tabled, but Council President Beverly Beck says that the council will take a vote tonight. The city wants Transpo to abandon its present site so it can use the location for potential development. The bus company found only the Main and Western site as an acceptable location, but the council and some riders have objected to that move.
Well, the water's rough and the practice hard, but by the end of April, 16 canoeists and kayakers will be selected to represent the United States in World Championships in West Germany. The practice camps are being held at South Bend's East Race Waterway. Last week, some 80 canoeists and kayakers converged on the River City to gear up for the U.S. time trials here on April 27th and 28th. Many of the athletes are from the Northeast, although some are from Colorado, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Coach Bill Endicott says it takes a lot of work to prepare for national and international competitions.
These fellows have been training twice a day for the last several years in many cases, sometimes 3 a day. We've been able during the winter to send a small group to Chile and train there, and most of the rest of the team went to California. So we've been trying to find places where we can get very specific whitewater training even during our winter.
Endicott says many of the athletes are students or work part-time jobs to finance their training.
The United States has been the top country in this event in the 1979 World Championships and the 1981 Worlds, and we were second best nation in 1983.
The 1985 World Championships will be in Augsburg, West Germany from June 13th through the 18th.
Well, still ahead on Newswatch, Hollywood readies itself for the Academy Awards tonight.
And Francesca Stevens reports on the stocking of the St. Joe River.
Gurley Leaf Dodge presents the 1985 Caravan for growing families who want a station wagon but also want added versatility. It may look like a van from the outside, but it feels like a luxury sedan on the inside. The front-wheel drive Dodge Caravan is truly a transportation revolution. And right now, it's specially priced with over 40 to choose from. Plus, get 8.8% financing on any new Dodge Omni, Dodge Charger, Daytona, and D50 pickup. Come in today. The selections are great and the prices are right at Gurley Leaf Nissan Dodge in South Bend.
One of the first benefits of telephone deregulation is all the choices you have in long-distance companies. Well, besides being able to make low-cost calls anywhere, General Telephone customers will someday be able to do a lot more with their phones, like getting news, sports, and any other kind of information, guarding homes with nearly perfect security systems, doing all your banking and shopping, and much, much more. In fact, we think what you'll be able to do with your phone is simply magic.
If you were anywhere near Mishawaka's Merrifield Park this morning, you probably noticed a group of people surrounding a couple of trucks.
They were there because they had fishing on their minds, but as Francesca Stevens reports, they'll have to wait a while to realize their dreams.
These are the first of some 170,000 steelhead trout, which are expected to be stocked in the St. Joseph River this week. They were hatched last year at the Twin Branch State Fish Hatchery in Mishawaka. They range about 7 inches in length.
What will happen is that over about the next 2 to 3 months, about the next 2 to 3 months, they should migrate out to Lake Michigan, spend about 2 to 2.5 summers or years out in Lake Michigan, and then come back as an adult fish.
The Indiana Department of Natural Resources St. Joseph River Fish Project actually started last year when the DNR dumped over 500,000 young Chinook salmon in the river.
What we're going to have when the fish are in place is really a fishing industry in Mishawaka. It's also going to be a recreational area that's, we think, going to attract people from all over the area.
In fact, a couple dozen people were attracted this morning, many of them members of a local fishermen's club called the Michiana Steelheaders. Club President Ken McCormick says the fish stocking is great, but that the city has some work to do.
We just recently met with some city officials to tell them what was important to us as fishermen as to the location of boat launches, cleaning facilities, restroom lighting, and the city's behind us, and we're really excited about it.
Interestingly enough, the Department of Natural Resources estimates only about 10% of the fish they release will return to Mishawaka. They say that'll amount to about 50,000 fish each year starting in 1987. But they say that should be plenty for about 15,000 fishermen waiting by the shore. With photographer Ian Sendell, Francesca Stevens, Newswatch 28.
The Napanee City Council will be voting tonight to get rid of a problem which has plagued the city for a long time. The council will act on a bond issue of about $250,000 to be used to double the size of the city's wastewater treatment plant. Federal and state monies will pay for 85% of the $1.7 million project. The improvements were ordered by the State Board of Health after it was determined the city's sewage was polluting the water supply.
Now, this has been an existing situation that we've had for some time, since 1973. Before this, we had to get approval from the State Board of Health for any new developments of any kind on industry or residential, and this will eliminate that.
The plant may help out economic development efforts, but it's bad news for present commercial and residential water customers. Calendar says if the bond issue passes, water bills will go up an average of 75%. That means the bill of the average customer will jump from $7 or $8 to $14 per month.
And now it's time for weather, and Joe Palmieri joins us tonight. And I got to tell you, Joe, for your first day doing this, it was beautiful out there today. Nice sun, and you've even got better news for us for the next couple of days, too.
I certainly do. If you like today, then you certainly are going to love tomorrow, because we were above normal today. We're going to be way above normal tomorrow and also going into the middle of this week. Before we get to that, why don't we take a look at some of the conditions outside. And we can see we did not have any rain at all today. But before we get to that, the temperature is 49 degrees. Relative humidity is 33%. The barometric pressure is 30.33, and it's steady. The winds are out of the northeast at 9 miles an hour. And as I said, no precipitation today. So far this year, we are 8.69 inches above normal. And that is for so far the year to date, we're a little over 2 inches above normal. Now, taking a look at our satellite map, we can see right here, us right on through New England. We were clear skies today, a few patchy clouds below us. The south, warm, clear, but the real problem, the real troublemaker, and it could be ours, possibly going into the end of this week, is right out here. Snow and rain from Montana right on down through Nevada. That's coming easterly. We may get some before the week is out. Now, taking a look at a radar for us, you can see some of the storm system is now beginning to move into Illinois. A few patchy clouds for us, but really right now that's no problem. Again, what comes a little later this week, we'll just have to wait and see. The current national map, the storm and the patchy clouds now going through Indiana and Ohio and Illinois. Right here it ends. That's really the storm that started around New England, moved out to sea in a southerly direction. Still some rain in Virginia and also in North Carolina. But again, in New England, up in Maine, right on down to us, sunny and warm, except for New England, where it was a bit chilly today. In the midsection, right on through Texas, it was warmer and it was clear. But this is the storm here: snow and rain from the border right on down through to Nevada. Now, tomorrow's national map, it's going to be a little more of the same. Again, here in the southeast or the southwest, some sun, and that will be moving hopefully right on up to us. But we'll have to again wait and see about that. This high pressure system developing is clearing things out there. And back in the east, high pressure system will be keeping us really almost, for this time of year, almost like the tropics. We'll be in the 60s tomorrow, but the people in Canada, they aren't quite so lucky. Snow possibly accumulating to 4 and 5 inches. Thunderstorms here around Texas. We won't be getting any of that tomorrow, but then again, as the system moves in our direction, we may get some of that as the week progresses. In Florida, 85 degrees today. Not quite that warm around here tomorrow. I'll tell you what it's going to be like in just a minute.
They know at Elkhart and South Bend Transmissions that no shop hits all the good points all the time. Just being very considerate of your painfully unexpected expenses is not enough. Sticking to quoted prices, not enough. Honesty without parts and the smarts isn't either. But for years, being well established and the largest shop in Michiana is proof, and large volume buying. Sticking to quoted prices, having the parts and the smarts, and not overhauling when only an adjustment is required. That should really convince you to bring your car to the guys who are really honest. Elkhart and South Bend Transmissions.
Just when you thought it would never end, there's a sign that it already has. Hudson's Anniversary Sale. It's the first big sale of the season with fantastic store-wide savings you can really warm up to. Hudson's Anniversary Sale, the first sign of spring.
All individual retirement accounts perform the same basic function. They help you save for retirement while saving on your taxes today. But will a CD work best for you, or could you do better with a self-directed program? We can help you choose the right option with an IRA that's as individual as you are. Talk to Midwest Commerce Banking Company, where your IRA gets the personal touch.
We're the Midwest Commerce Banking Company.
If all of the cars in your price range seem to be built like tiny tin cans, take heart. There's still an affordable car built like cars should be built. A solid body with doors that thunk, lids that clunk, and an interior built for full-size people. If you want a real car, not a throwaway, there's only one choice. Volvo, the smart buy.
See Pepper's Imported Cars, 18183 State Road 23 Northeast, South Bend.
It's going to be warm tomorrow afternoon, but before we get to that, it's going to be in the mid-20s around here, and also, again, right on up through New England. Texas and Florida will be the warm spots. They'll be in the 60s. Now for tonight, clear and cool, just above the freezing mark at 33 degrees. Our winds will be out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now for the good news, 62 degrees, and for the most part, with the exception of a few scattered clouds, it's going to be a great day. Our winds will be out of the southeast at 10 miles an hour. There's a possibility we may even go up to around 65 degrees. For tomorrow night, 50 degrees, no clouds in sight, and going ahead to Wednesday, 65 degrees. There is a chance for some rain as the afternoon progresses. And now we can look at, what are we going to look at? There we go. For today, our high was 52 degrees. The normal is 48. The record is 73, which was set 40 years ago. The low today was 38. The normal, 31. Record low, 1974, 6 degrees. And our weather watcher for today is Angela Comer of Central School in Napanee. She's in 3rd grade in Mrs. Bellman's class.
And interesting, show a little rain there for everybody to see.
A little rain. Hopefully it's going to stay away.
That's right, that's for sure. Thanks very much, Joe.
Thank you.
Jane.
Well, for one night every year, the eyes of the world focus on a small fellow by the name of Oscar. Channel 28 will be televising the Academy Awards tonight, marking the 57th anniversary of the ceremonies. And this year, there are a wide range of nominees. We're going to take a look at Best Picture. Places in the Heart, which was written and directed by Robert Benton, stars Sally Field as a young widow who struggles to raise her children and hold on to her farm during the 1930s.
Why, Moses has said that it's ready.
Well, Moses has always said...
Oh, okay, man. I did say the cotton come in a touch early hereabouts. But in a couple of 3 days, the pickers from down south are going to get up as far as this county, and they can go through a field of cotton quicker than you can say jackrabbits.
Fine, we'll start right now.
They say
The Killing Fields, directed by Roland Joffe, based on a true story. It stars Sam Waterston. It tells the story of a New York Times reporter and his Cambodian assistant during the war in that country.
I've arranged for the evacuation of you and your family. So now it's up to you. What do you want to do?
Now look, may I speak freely?
A Soldier's Story, directed by Norman Jewison, stars Howard E. Rollins Jr. as an Army officer investigating a murder at a Southern Army base during World War II.
Knows that. He doesn't give a damn about this killing, and your being here proves it. Now, they're making a fool out of you. Can't you sit? Will you take off those damn sunglasses?
I like these. They're like MacArthur's.
A Passage to India, written and directed by David Lean, stars Peggy Ashcroft and Alec Guinness in the adaptation of a novel about love and class struggle in 1920s India.
I only saw her face in a photograph.
And Amadeus, directed by Milos Forman, Tom Hulce and F. Murray Abraham star as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and his rival Antonio Salieri. The film, like the play on which it is based, speculates on the relationship between the genius Mozart and his decidedly mediocre contemporary. And I have someone who's not decidedly mediocre sitting next to me.
Well.
Mark Shariffa here with all the sports news. What's up today, Mark?
We have some good news if you're an Indiana basketball fan.
Well,
and
that's
also
good news.
some good news if you live around Wrigley Field and you don't like the idea